Winnie Madikizela Mandela, the former wife of Nelson Mandela, says South Africa's ruling African National Congress Party needs new leadership after the organization lost control of the country's three main urban centers to the opposition Democratic Alliance during recent municipal elections. Now, many are wondering what the future holds for the party. VOA's Heidi Adams-Fitzpatrick has our report.
Africa's oldest liberation movement has always enjoyed the loyalty of the vast majority of South Africans. The party of Nelson Mandela ended white rule and delivered freedom to the country's black majority. In last month's municipal elections, those loyalties shifted. The ANC suffered its worst election defeat since the fall of racial apartheid 22 years ago, triggering widespread discontent even among its own party activists.
Lives were lost for the ANC to be where it is today, and we cannot afford to see it die down, die a slow death in the manner in which it is.
We would like them to recall, in fact, we demand that they recall the President of the Republic as an ANC deployee, as well as NEC members to resign.
While some rank-and-file ANC members want President Jacob Zuma sacked, many senior party members still back him. Political analyst Justice Malala says Mr. Zuma is so firmly entrenched, it's unlikely he'll be ousted before the end of his term.
The way the ANC works is that, you have its conferences and so forth. But at the very top, between the 5-yearly conference, there is only the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Those are the people who make the decision. The president goes, we recall him, or the president stays. At the moment, it's unlikely that President Zuma will leave because about between 60% and 75% of the people in that National Executive Committee depend directly on President Zuma for their monthly paycheck, for their livelihood, and for their business interests to continue to flourish.
Zuma is facing 783 charges of corruption in an arms procurement probe. But he's known for his ability to avoid prosecution and retaining his grip on power, despite growing disappointment that he has not delivered on the ANC's promise of a better life for all. Malala says for the party to stay relevant, it should focus less on protecting Zuma and more squarely on governance.
For the future, for the ANC to reinvent itself, it would need to say to the people who've given it support since 1994, that it is going back to being the organization whose values were embodied by Nelson Mandela. So it will have to, one, ditch its current leader, Jacob Zuma. It will have to show that it's serious about fighting corruption. And it will have to show that it wants to implement the pro-poor policies that it's always spoken about and has sort of implemented, but in a very half-hearted manner, while people have been looting, essentially, the state coffers.
The ANC may be losing its hold on the cities, but it still has strong support in rural areas, including Zuma's home region of KwaZulu-Natal.
The ANC gives us employment opportunities. That's why I voted for the ANC.
This thing of ANC will die. The ANC will never die. And we're going to continue voting the ANC because we understand the principles.
This year's municipal elections have set the stage for an even bigger showdown in 2019, when the forces of discontent could shape the ANC's overwhelming control of Parliament and the presidency. Heidi Adams-Fitzpatrick, VOA News.